Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have two hearings, including a new update, with a woman who keeps making unhinged claims about her 71-year-old baby daddy in an effort to keep full custody of their young child. Mom has been keeping the child from Dad and won't return her for his parenting time, but the judge has ordered the child be returned to her father immediately and that Mom must... Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have two hearings, including a new update, with a woman who keeps making unhinged claims about her 71-year-old baby daddy in an effort to keep full custody of their young child. Mom has been keeping the child from Dad and won't return her for his parenting time, but the judge has ordered the child be returned to her father immediately and that Mom must follow their parenting plan. Dad's lawyer claims that Mom has a drug problem and ran away from their home and took the child with her after a recent argument. He says she has a history of making crazy claims to law enforcement about Dad in order to try and interfere with his custody, and that the last time she tried these antics, she called the FBI in an attempt to get him arrested for sex trafficking. Mom rants and raves at the judge with all sorts of wild accusations about Dad in his home, but the judge isn't having any of it. Let's watch.
Father's motion for immediate return of the minor child, as well as plaintiff father's motion to modify custody and parenting time. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Present is attorney Hassad Hamad, representing the plaintiff father, Edward Kine. Mr. Kine appears to be present with Mr. Hamad. In addition, defendant mother, Shimane Johnson, appears to be present. Is the child been returned to father, Mr. Hamad?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Johnson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where's the child at?
She is with my daughter while I'm doing this court hearing.
Well, until such time as there's an order entered by the court, if there's it's week on, week off parenting time. You just can't unilaterally change parenting time. If you feel the child's in danger, you call protective services, call law enforcement. But absent that, the child needs to be returned to father.
So yeah, you need permission from the court in order to not share your child with the other parent. Regardless of what's going on, you have to go through the proper metrics, the proper system in order to modify any type of time sharing, any type of custody agreement. You can't just withhold the child, because even if you feel like something's happening, like that may be fine, but it has to be investigated. The court's not just going to take your word for it. But a lot of people get hemmed up with that because they think, because they feel it or they think it or whatever it is, that they're allowed to do that. And no, ma'am. No, sir.
I'm working with Child Protective Services as well as Hope Shores Alliances, their domestic violence coordination. And there's a lot of abuse going on in the home. I was living in the home with the father as well as the child, and the father has been abusive in front of the child towards me, as well as allowing sex offenders around the child still that are in the court order, previous court orders, to not be around the child.
I'm going to object to this testimony as it's not founded and.
Right, Ms. Johnson, Mr. Walker, for the court, did your office receive any reports from protective services? Mr.
Oh, the front of the court has not received any recent reports.
Mr. Ahmad, has your client been contacted by protective services in the last 30 days?
No, Your Honor. Their protective services are not involved in this case. This is a repeat of 2022 and 2023, the same type of allegations that Ms. Johnson does all the time. She contacted the FBI last time and said he was a sex trafficker. This is always the same rhetoric. And back in February, this court heard that Ms. Johnson had overdosed, and that's where there was drug testing that was supposed to be done by Ms. Johnson, that the parties got back together to try to keep the family together and raise this child from February of this year until July. And in July, when they had an argument, Ms. Johnson decided to just walk away again, take the child, and he hasn't seen the child for 30 days. And that's not acceptable. Not every time Ms. Johnson decides she wants to alienate this father from his daughter, she chooses to do so. He's 71 years old, guy works every day, hardworking man, has never done any drugs in his life, and he wanted to keep Ms. Johnson under his purview and his care to make sure that if she was using, at least he would have control of that when Essence was with him, this minor, and she's not in a dangerous situation. Now we don't know where this child is. We don't know what he believes, that there was a guy she met online that she actually went up north and she stayed with for two weeks with this minor child. I have no idea who this guy is. There might be drug use. We don't know if she currently is positive for any type of drug use. Last time she was using crack cocaine under his house when he reported it. So there's a big concern here. And again,
Wait, she was using crack cocaine under the house? How do you smoke crack under the house? Or do you mean when he was under his roof? Because I'm thinking like he threw me off with that. So she was smoking crack when she was with him. First of all, her baby daddy is 71. She is a known drug user. She's been arrested. She has a drug background. And when she gets mad, she's saying he's sex trafficking and he's all this other stuff, but you're the one smoking crack. Child.
Using this sex trafficking again. Now it's domestic violence, but she never called the police. They never came out and said and arrested my client for domestic violence. This is all new stuff that now she's going to bring up to this court, and it's unacceptable. She can't continue to use this court to effectuate her fraud upon this court and keep continuing with these lies. It's just unacceptable.
Well, she's not using this court to do that. She's just on her own volition, is ignoring court orders, Mr. Ahmad. Ms. Johnson, the child needs to be returned to Mr. Kind today. Is there any reason why the child cannot be
Your
returned
Honor.
noon today? Ms.
All of
Johnson,
these,
you must file court orders. I know you got a motion to change custody, and that's set for before the referee tomorrow. Mr. Ahmad, you aware there's a referee hearing tomorrow?
Your Honor, I would like that to be adjourned. The
That's
reason
not before this court, it's for the referee.
but I figured, oh, that's fine.
Mr. Kind,
If I
Mr.
may-
Kind can appear tomorrow at the referee hearing. Mr. Johnson, where's the child at right now? Is the child here in Monroe
She's
County?
she's in Westland, Michigan.
Okay, well, you ordered to bring that child down to Monroe, the return child to Mr. Kind at noon today. Right now it's 10:15, so you got a couple of hours. So where are you gonna bring the child back to Monroe? Where are you gonna meet?
Your Honor, I would like to have this session adjourned until I can
Ms.
get
Johnson,
some
we'll
type
give you
of
a date
legal.
to review this, but in the meantime, the child's gonna be with dad. So what do you need, 2 weeks?
The
to get an
child is
attorney?
not safe with her father, and he also has a no occupancy permit listing on his home. The house is not safe there. I need legal help.
Your Honor,
Ms.
again,
Johnson, you just lived in that home, did you not?
Yeah, and that's why we left put the order on there. City of Taylor has put the order on there on 7/19.
Okay, Mr.
July
Ahmad, are you aware, is
19th.
there some, is the municipality,
Hold on. So now he can't even occupy his home. She's throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks. Let's see. He's a trafficker. He also has offenders around him. I can't remember if she said drug or not, but there's also domestic violence. He's just been beating on her. And now he doesn't have a certificate of occupancy for the home that she's lived in. And she just recently left and moved out because she got mad at him after an argument. And we wonder why the court system is so messed up. It's people like this playing games, women like this playing games, men like this playing games. But most times it's women playing games like this instead of taking it serious. There are real cases where it is an emergency, where the child is in danger or there's something that needs to be done. But when you have people like this, see, this is where people aren't believed. This is why, things don't go anywhere. And who is harmed in the end? The kids. But her ratchet crackhead behind, she don't care about anybody but herself and getting revenge on him. This is a control move. She just wants revenge on him for some perceived wrong. Nothing that's really going on. Nothing that, and it's just, and especially you notice for her being a crackhead.
vacating or?
no, the
Kind?
city's coming out for an inspection. The house is in fine care. There needs to be a renewal of her certificate of occupancy. It's not a condemned home. Actually, it's in very great shape, more than people live normally. And she lived there for a long time, and she knows that there's no problems with this home. So this is
there bed?
this is
Is there
another
a bed and bedroom
ploy.
for the child?
Yes, absolutely. There's
Right.
bedrooms.
Ms.
Inside
Johnson?
a garage.
CPS
The
Ms.
the
Johnson.
bedroom is inside
Ms.
a
Johnson.
garage. The child.
Ms. Johnson, your order to return the child at noon today to Mr. Kind. Do you understand that? The only question is where are we
Yes.
gonna meet?
Your Honor, because he is currently here in Dearborn, Michigan, she doesn't need to drive to Monroe. If the child's in Westland, they can meet at the Dearborn Heights Police Station, and they can exchange the child at the Dearborn Heights Police Station inside. So this way, there's no issues.
And Ms. Johnson, will that
I
work?
would like to state something for the
We'll
record,
give you a date for
please.
review. We can come back in a couple weeks. You can come back with an attorney. But Ms. Johnson, can you meet at the
A
Dearborn
false ex
Heights
parte order
Police
to
Department
get
today?
custody is criminal.
Ms. Johnson, is it okay
Yes.
to meet at the Dearborn Heights Police Department today?
I would like to say one thing for the record. A false ex parte order to get custody is criminal, and criminal complaints on the judge who violates the law can also be in place.
Wait, is she trying to say, wait. Is she trying to say she's threatening the judge with the actual law and saying that the judge can actually be charged in such illegal cases? Like she's saying it's illegal for him to have the child because of false what? Wait. The nerve. Can you imagine the nerve? She's essentially threatening the judge that if you don't listen or do what I want, this is what the road that she wants to go down and make this complaint about him.
Okay, your comments so noted on the record, Ms. Johnson. Where do you want to meet today at noon? Is that okay to meet? It probably makes the most sense to meet at a police station. Ms. Johnson?
I guess wherever Mr. Kind would like to meet, since it's not
Okay.
in the best interest of my child, it's in the best interest of Mr. Kind and what allegations he has made to the courts. I would like to do a drug test to prove that I'm not on drugs. I would like you to please order a hair test so I can prove that there's been no drugs. I would like you to send somebody out to his home to see that it is in the perfect condition that they say that it is in. Your Honor, I have been there. I've been through it. Mr. Kind is an abusive man. He has abused me in front of my child.
Right. That's why we're not going to be contact. We're not going to be contact. You meet at the police department. Meet at the police department.
You see her pleading this because this has nothing to do with anything. Again, she had no right to remove the children without a court order. And because she did not have a court order, it does not matter any of this stuff she's talking about. That has to be litigated and investigated separately. But let's be honest. Is anything she's saying true? She doesn't listen. She just steamroll. Thinking she's threatened the judge. Now she's steamroll him, but the judge is not having it. Every time she goes off on a tangent, he's like, "Okay, so what time? I mean, where can you meet him? Where can you meet to exchange the child? Where can you meet to exchange the child?" She's all over the place, and he is like, "There is only one matter before this court, and whatever you talking about, sis."
So we're going to put this over for a couple of weeks. You come back with an attorney, and you're offering to take a drug test, Ms. Johnson. Is that correct?
To interrupt.
Ms. Johnson, are you offering to take a drug test?
How are we to know that he's going to stop putting sex offenders in the home with my child?
Mr. Ahmad, with whom does Mr. Kind reside?
Nobody. This is the same
Okay.
stuff she said in 23 and 22, and it's not acceptable.
No, that's not true.
Okay, Ms. Johnson.
That's not true.
Ms. Johnson, are you offering to take a drug test?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
All right, court will order. We're going to put this over for a couple of weeks. The court's going to order that Ms. Johnson return the child to Mr. Kind today at 12 noon at the Dearborn Heights Police Department. Do you know where that's located, Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, so you meet there, and the child will remain with Mr. Kind till we come back. The child has been, the father's been denied the child since July 15th. Is that correct, Mr. Ahmad?
July 9th, that's
There's
correct.
an active
Right.
CPS case that
So
is
July 15th.
prohibiting
Right.
me from returning the child.
Oh God, they didn't. Why she switch this angle to her teeth? Like we didn't want to see it. We didn't want to. And not you smoking crack with braces, girl. Ooh, it's hard out here.
To the father.
That's not true. That's completely false.
Yes,
Ms.
it is.
Johnson,
I
Ms.
have
Johnson,
the
the court's made a
paperwork
decision.
with me.
We're going to set this in order. We're going to put a review date in a couple of weeks. Do you need 2 weeks in which to get the drug test done? A hair follicle drug test?
No, I can do it right now today.
Okay, good. But you need some time. You want to talk with an attorney, correct?
I do need to talk with an attorney, but I do not think that it is in the best interest of the child to be returned to her father while there's a sex offender that is on the property and there's numerous drug activities and criminal activities that are going on his property. Mr. Hamadi could say that it's untrue all he wants, but he's not there. He did not live there with the child. The child is in danger with her father.
Not you with the actual drug case. You were caught with crack. And you trying to say that he's the one doing drugs? I mean, these narcissists, people like this, the other parent, they always want to project. What they're doing is what they say you're doing. They don't care about the child. This is all a power play. They don't care what's in the best interest of the child. Well, they're going to make as many false accusations as they can against you. And then what happens is when you don't play their games, like he's not making false accusations because that's what they want you to do. They think that you're going to be as low as them. So when you're not, then they keep trying to make more and more accusations and bring you to court and or do things to escalate and then alienate you from the child if they can. I mean, the fact that she has any standing right now after doing this is insane.
So, Mr. Ahmad, any objection to the court ordering that no other parties can reside in that home till we come back?
Yeah. Does anybody reside? No. Yeah, that's fine, Your Honor.
All right, so the court will address that, Ms. Johnson. Again, the order is that you return the child to Mr. Kind today at 12 noon at the Dearborn Heights Police Department. Mr. Kind will have possession of the child until we come back to court in a couple weeks, which will give you a date in a mile. Ms. Johnson, you are to submit to a hair follicle test and provide the results to the court and to Mr. Ahmad when we come back, before we come back. And finally, the court will order that Mr. Kind not allow any other person to reside in the home until we come back, determine who's
That's
allowed to
fine.
live in the home.
So once again,
And we
you're
have
going to
review
place
dates.
a child, a
August
3-year-old child
21st
with
at
a
9
sex
a.m.
offender.
Just a minute, Ms.
Once again,
Kind,
Your
Ms.
Honor,
Johnson. Mr. Ahmad, are
you're
you available?
placing a child.
That's what I forgot. She actually called the FBI on him. The FBI, not just the police. Like she had to look up the FBI number to do this. This manipulative witch.
A 3-year-old little girl with a sex offender family of known
August
sexual
21st, 9:45, are you
abuse
available,
to
Mr. Ahmad?
children in the family.
Yes, Your Honor. Is that in person or?
Not them ignoring her completely. She's still talking about the same junk and they just going about their business like she don't exist. That's what you got to do with people like this. Just ignore them.
On Zoom.
Besides Zoom. So
Okay,
Ms.
that
Johnson,
works. I'll be there.
um,
August 21st at
The
9:30.
court's review is August 21st. What time again? 9:45 a.m.
That's fine.
So Ms. Johnson, make
So
sure the
you're
front
putting
court
a
has a valid
child with a
address
sex
so we
offender
can mail
once
you a
again,
copy of
Your
this
Honor.
order. All your objections are noted, Ms. Johnson. Make sure the front of the court, when you're in the courthouse today, go down to the front of the court, make sure they have Mr. Walker as your correct mailing address. So a copy of this order is mailed to you. You want
have
to be
my
here
correct
August
mailing address.
21st
I've
at
received
9:45 a.m.
Your Honor, I
Yeah.
also want to address if she's requesting an attorney and this court knows that there's a referee hearing tomorrow, it doesn't make sense that there's a hearing tomorrow when she's requesting an attorney.
It doesn't
Well,
make,
listen,
no,
she
I would
filed
like
the
to go in
motion
front
pro
of
per, Mr.
Jennifer
Ahmad.
Comrich.
So
All right.
the
Is that it?
referee may, in fact, put it over to, do you want to put everything over? Ms. Johnson, do you want to put your motion over before this court on August 21st at 9:45?
I would like to carry on with tomorrow being the day. I'm ready to go forward with this.
All right, all right.
And,
The referee,
the
most likely,
referee seems-
Mr. Ahmad, will adjourn the matter to this court's docket August 21st, but we'll see. She wants to keep it on, and that's her motion in pro per, so maybe Mr. Kind can appear. And,
Okay, are those-
if you choose not to appear, and just inform the referee, the court ordered that the mother return the child to the father today at 12 noon. Hopefully that's happened. Ms. Johnson, you need to comply with this court's order. It's very critical. So follow this court's order.
Yes,
Make
Your
sure the
Honor,
child
and
to
I
Mr.
think that
Kind
you should
today
comply
at
with
noon
the
at the
safety
Dearborn
of the
Heights Police
well-being of the
Department.
child. The best interest of the
And that will
child is that is what you're supposed to be taking into consideration as a judge. That's your job. You're
Come
not
back
doing
with
that
an
with my little
attorney.
girl.
Come back to the train
You're
August
returning
21st,
her
Ms.
to a
Johnson.
drug-infested
No one has
location
received any
with her
CPS
father,
reports.
as well as sex offenders in the home that live there.
Walker, any questions about the language of the order?
No, Your Honor, I believe I have it.
All right, that will conclude this hearing. You can all zoom out and do comply with this court's order, Ms. Johnson. The court does not want to hold you in contempt of court. And then, of course, that is the consequence if you fail to return
How-
that child at noon today.
Your Honor, I would
Okay.
also just indicate to Ms. Johnson that that's inside of the Dearborn Heights Police Department. This way, there's no safety concern to either party inside of the police department.
The
Okay,
safety
understand, Ms.
concerns are to
Johnson?
my child in the home with Mr. Kind and his sex offender son, Edward Clickard, who is a 13-year
Right. Ms. Johnson, Ms.
registered
Johnson,
sex
listen.
offender who is
Ms. Johnson,
he's a
Ms.
serial
Johnson,
rapist of
Ms.
children,
Johnson,
Your Honor.
this
That's where
court
you're
has already
sending my little
ordered-
girl.
Okay, mute Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, if you can listen to the court has ordered that there be no other persons living in that home between now and we come back. It would just be your daughter, it'd be Essence and Mr. Kind, that's it.
And
Okay,
just
that
for
will
the record,
conclude this hearing. Mr. Ahmad, we'll see you back on
Mr.
August 21st at
Clickard, thank you.
9:45.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You know they muted her in the background. The clerk probably muted her because I was wondering, why are they letting her go on and on? She's telling Joe he's not doing his job, all this other stuff. This man, he's got all these sex offenders. He's got all this going on at his house. But yet she laid down with him. And yet she moved in with him, not once, but twice. Now suddenly all of this is going on. And she's made the same claim for multiple years. Where I'm sure investigations were done, but she's keeping it up and nothing was founded with what she was saying. But over and over and over, she's going to repeat that and disrespect the judge and thinks that it has no bearing on what's going to be the outcome of this case. But let's continue.
Matter of Edward Knight versus Shimmy Johnson.
For the record, this matter is before the court for purpose of reviewing custody and parenting time. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Present is defendant mother, Shimon Johnson. Also present is attorney Hassad Hamad, representing the plaintiff Edward Kind. Mr. Kind is present with Mr. Hamad. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Parties have conferred with the front of the court. The court has received final recommendation that the child should remain in exclusive possession of the father until such time as results are received from the mother's hair follicle tests. We thought we'd have that today. Further, it's recommended that mother shall not make any posts regarding this case or Mr. Kind under social media. And further, it's ordered that the plaintiff is requesting mother be sentenced on the contempt finding. That's the recommendation this morning. Ms. Johnson, do you understand the recommendation?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
The status of your hair follicle test.
So she's been posting and talking about it probably on these TikTok story times and probably telling everybody publicly that he, you know, is trafficking children and all these SA claims and DV claims. And she's probably sharing it and putting it out there because otherwise, why would the court make that order just out the blue if that wasn't happening? And making unfounded claims.
When you were last in court, you advised the court that you had secured that drug testing on August 9th, and you would have the results by today.
I thought that was how it would work too. I did do it August 9th at 10:13 a.m. I have the paperwork. I just do not have the results. They have not dropped into my inbox, unfortunately.
Okay, you need to reach out to that facility. So the court's inclined to adopt this recommendation that the essence stay with that until such time as you have secured those results.
Your Honor, can I ask what facility Miss Johnson had taken her hair follicle test at?
Right, Ms. Johnson, what's the name of the facility?
LabCorp,
Where is that out of?
East Jordan.
What city?
East Jordan, Michigan?
Yes, East Jordan, Michigan.
Okay, so you went in actually to that East Jordan facility?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, you got to reach out to them and secure that.
Why aren't they making her provide the receipt? Like to show that she actually took it? Because something, if she already has been busted with crack before, I'm doubting that it's going to come back clean because she even wanted a hair follicle test, not just a simple blood one. That means that it stays in your hair forever. So they're able to test it depending on how long her strands are, like, and see where she's been doing crack. Like her hair strand is going to tell them, okay, she did crack back then. She did crack on November 8th, 2022. She did some more crack on, January 3rd on 2023. I don't know, but it can see where all of that's going. Can you imagine like the hairs, like they put a line on every time she smoked crack on there? God help us.
I guess probably we should have this for review dates. I mean, I don't want this for Ms. Johnson have to petition the court and notice of her hearing. It may be difficult for her. So we'll put a review date on this, maybe in 30 days. Mr. Ahmad, how many days was dad denied parenting time? Weeks approximately.
35 days. 35 days.
Okay. All right. So we'll set this for review in about 30 days. Ms. Johnson, if you want to get those results, you can always notice it back on for hearing before then.
Your Honor, East Jordan, Michigan that's like almost towards the UP by like Boyne City and Petoskey. Can the court hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can. And again, I didn't know where East Jordan, Michigan was located, but yeah,
it's by
Ms.
Charlotte.
Johnson's responsibility. She's got to get those hair follicle test results. So it's on her to produce those.
So it must be really far. Like it doesn't make sense for her to have done a drug test all the way out in East Jordan. I don't know where they're located, but something's fishy about it. But he's not saying it. He's just like bringing it up where it's located, but not advocating, his point. He's not articulating anything.
Well, that just seems odd to me because she was in court in Monroe.
Okay, I was wrong. I should let the man talk.
And then she was in person the following week. All right, I guess I'm just a little confused because
It's
Jordan-
unusual.
Not that far of a drive. I drove there. On the 9th, I wasn't in Monroe on the 9th. I was in Alpena on the 9th. And I do have a son that lives in Lewiston whom I frequently visit.
Okay.
Oh, so she doesn't have custody of her other son. Then plus she has a daughter, I'm assuming is an adult daughter that she has watching the other child. So this woman has children all over the place, and then she doesn't have custody of the son. New information.
Jordan is the closest place to there. It's 80 miles. Yes, it's a far drive, but I did it.
All right, Your Honor.
Wait, 80? You drove 80 miles to go to a LabCorp? Unless she lives out in the sticks, like the boonies, she's literally on the farm milking cows. Why would you need to drive 80 miles?
I would like to address one other thing with the court, if the court allows.
All right, one moment. Are you available, Mr. Hamad, on September 25 for review? September 25 and 10:30. Ms. LaPrade, could you put in this a recommendation that the court will review the matter? We'll put it back on our docket September 18th at 9:45, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Hamad, there's one other issue you wanted to address?
Yes, Your Honor. Unless the court's adopting the recommendation, then it may address some of the social media posts that Ms. Johnson's been posting about dad being a chomo, which is a child molester, as well as just the court's aware, Mr. Kind gets home and finds a writing on the door, which looks like marker on his front door saying, "You're a chomo, Mr. Kind, you deserve a knife in your chomo liver." I don't know. He doesn't know who wrote that. He doesn't, but obviously.
Wait a second. So I was right about her posting on social media, but she's straight up saying he's a chomo. I had no idea. I've never heard that term before. But now they're writing it on his door. Now, do we think anybody else did it but her? And sir, why don't you have cameras on your property, especially when you're dealing with a baby mama like this?
It's pertaining to this case because who else is going to do that? And I'm not suggesting we don't have proof that Ms. Johnson did it, but clearly if this is continuously hitting social media and there are her friends or family that are also getting frustrated or whatever the case may be, this might be causing those problems. And based on the contempt, it seems like Ms. Johnson just doesn't know how to stop. So I would ask the court to sentence her or partial sentence, even to pay for attorney fees. She clearly told the court she's looking for attorney. There's no attorney here. It's wasting our time as well as Mr. Kind's time. And that's what I would be asking, but I'll keep it to the court's discretion.
Certainly your position, your statements is unknown, obviously is understood, Mr. Ahmad, and obviously Mr. Kind should contact law enforcement, make a report. And maybe there's some cameras that might pick up whoever did that. And Ms. Johnson, you need to rein in your friends and accomplices. I mean, they should obviously, this is clearly inappropriate. The court will order that you not post anything about Mr. Kind or Essence on social media. This is a matter before this court and you and the father. So you're gonna find yourself and spend some time in jail as a contempt sentence. I'm going to reserve a sentencing at this time, but you're pushing it, Ms. Johnson, by posting things on social media. That shall immediately stop. And I suggest you bring in your friends, tell them that they're creating problems for you in your relationship with your daughter.
Your Honor, if I may.
Said, I just forewarn you, Ms. Johnson, it's got to stop, and you need to tell your friends that they are creating problems for you and your daughter, because this impacts upon you negatively.
Your Honor, and I understand she has the freedom of speech, as Ms. Johnson had stated to Ms. LaPrade, and we understand that. And her freedom of speech under the Constitution is fine. But to talk about what this court's doing, how bad this court's moving forward in this case, how Mr. Kind is a child molester, I just don't believe it's in the best interest of the child. If in the future these two want to co-parent, this needs to stop.
The court would agree. Court fully agrees with your position, Mr. Ahmad, and hopefully Ms. Johnson is listening. So again, this matter is adjourned. Hopefully, Ms. Johnson, you come back with those hair follicle results. If you get them, pass them on to Mr. Ahmad ahead of time. And also the front of the court, provide ahead of time. Don't wait till the review date of September 18th to do that. Again, you should not post anything in social media. And instruct your friends not to do so about Mr. Kind. They're creating problems for you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so we'll adjourn this matter to September 18th at 9:45. Any questions, Ms. Johnson?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Copies will be mailed out.
So I'm going to have to follow up with this to see if she kept posting something, if what ends up happening. But you can tell she is full of BS. She's just vindictive. She's angry. For some reason, she wants to make this man pay. And so many people, so many of us have dealt with people like this in the court system, especially, if you're with your ex or you're sharing custody, different things like that. People go through these things all the time, and it wreaks hell on your mental health. Like, imagine, but I mean, I don't think, not too many people go to the point where they're going to be accusing you of being a chomo and getting people to believe that, and then vandalizing your house with that word. Like, that to me is defamation level type of thing, which I'm surprised they haven't gotten into. Maybe he will at some point. I guess the family court is not the place to do it, but she is definitely out of pocket. And we already know that drug test, he long gone. He gone bye-bye. We'll see if she got that. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this one, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.